Kala kanungure kihene ba uha. Kala kanungure kunuba. Kala kanungure akaua. Abu mamadi yohanaka ua. Aka ua kaka kaka. Aka ua ya ua ya. Aka ua na ua ya. Aka ua kaka kaka. Aka ua na ibe ya. Abu mamadi hi ha. Abu mamadi nekezi hang on. Abu mamadi hi ha. Abu mamadi nekezi ha. Abu mamadi hi ha. Abu mamadi hi ha. I am the mighty duck who ha ha. I am the mighty duck amadi yo ha. I am the mighty duck amadi yo ha. Kala kanu karaki hano. Kala kanu karaki hano. Kala kanu mura akunuba. Abu mamadi yo ha hi he ha. Abu mamadi yo hani mi hangwa. Abu mamadi yo hangwa. Kala kanu mura ki hanaba. Kala kanu mura akunuba. Abu mamadi hi he ha. Welcome everyone. Shimo Genke Rama Hambu Mogeni Kala Kanu here. Thank you to the returning viewers. Two things for the new people. One, my astrological sun sign is Capricorn. Two, I was born in Southeast Washington, D.C. I was born in Southeast Washington, D.C. on January 2nd, 1998. Wow, it's the first time I ever stumbled there. Anyway, I'm going to begin talking. You see, I hate my family. And I only use the word family because in English, people don't understand metaphysically that you shouldn't call everyone you're related to family. Ideally, in the world, no one you're related to should commit an act of evil against you. But if that happens, then those who are related to you, and when I'm saying related to, in this case, I'm talking about those of the people who are in your no romance zone, your gene pool. That's just a gene pool member, okay? So I hate my gene pool members. And there are exceptions. Shout out to the exceptions. It's just, and this is among those I know. Like most people, I don't know most of my gene pool. Thank you to my viewers. I see I've registered them. Please like, share, and subscribe. You see, I've talked a lot about how they've insulted me and tried to say I'm crazy. And you see, I don't use that word lightly because in the connotation of English today, when someone says they're trying to say I'm crazy, and particularly if this is a person who does not, have the validation of whatever group they're criticizing, then that's taken to be proof they're crazy. Now, there's an aspect of their insult I haven't talked about, and that's me working hard to speak my own language, especially starting when I was in college. You see, I took 2 Igbo classes at Harvard. Shout out to the people I took the class with, and shout out to my teacher. Why? Because language is important. You see, English is not of nature, but it's even more obvious to me I shouldn't be speaking it. And again, it is what it is right now, because I just have to broadcast to the wider world, and most of my audience wouldn't understand my language. Side note, that's standard. Most languages will not be spoken by most people just, by numbers. Really, the deeper issue is 1, we don't have enough translators, and 2, we don't understand universal speech. There's such a thing as universal speech, but 1, obviously that's a small minority of words, so you can't just speak in universal speech. That's LA. 2, English is not it. Let's move. Let's move in a certain direction. You see, long story short, my family has been practicing self-hating racism against me because I choose to speak our language instead of English. The most insulting manifestation of this actually happened with Dr. B, the therapist I've been mentioning. For context, a woman I was in a relationship with, and again, I don't take it lightly to talk about details of a relationship that is not public, and I'll just leave it at that. But it is what it is. And I'm just going to leave it at that. Forgive me. but a woman I was in a relationship wanted us to go to couples therapy. I'm not a fan of traditional therapy. I think we need more therapy in the world today. I just think the way it's practiced today, it doesn't work. And it doesn't work for two reasons. One, secularism. How are you going to evaluate someone's overall well-being, which is what therapy is, without taking into account spirituality? It doesn't make sense. And side note, talking to your pastor is not the alternative. That's just something else bad. But two, we have to look at the temperament, and I'll use that word, of most therapists across various modalities. And I'll leave it at that. They have bad temperament. And I'll leave it at that. Anyway, see more viewers on here. Thank you. Anyway, so I went to him for couples therapy. Long story short, the couples therapy never happened. I'm still not 100% sure why, and I'll leave it at that. I'm just going to leave it at that. But then he offered me to continue with one-on-one therapy, because that's how I started, for free. I say, okay. Long story short, it comes out that, and he revealed this to me, but he revealed it to me without, one, apologizing, and two, really, he revealed, okay, I've been talking to your dad, who orchestrated a plot to really get me committed and or pressed, and then it ended in an incident where I could have potentially left this earth. So not good. And my dad is someone who's never been good. So he was already really beyond on a short leash, and after that point, I just can't even tolerate being near him. Anyway, so he just says, I've been talking to your dad. How do you feel about this? And he said it, and again, I've described Dr. B before, and again, his appearance is relevant. He's an older man, at least he's older than me. I don't know his exact age. Side note, he refused to tell me his exact age. But he's an older man, black man, but no beard, and has shaved off his head. And he made a comment before to indicate that he felt some way, and that's how I'll put it, about my beard. And I'm just going to say it, given the dynamics of racism today and the dynamics of age discrimination today, older men with no hair on their heads, generally speaking, and again, some people are exceptions. Again, it's not healthy to go around like that, but some people, are good despite their flaws, and I'll leave it at that, which is obvious. But generally speaking, older black men who present like that raise my alarm bells, because there's a high chance they'll discriminate against me. It is what it is. Let me move. So anyway, Dr. B is not Igbo, and I'll just say it like that, unless he secretly hid in some Igbo lineage. How do I know? One, what he said about himself, and two, his name. His name is not Igbo, and I'm just saying it like that. So there's no way for him to understand the language, and he never indicated that he learned it. And I'm just leaving it like that. You know what I mean. I'm speaking quickly. But Anthony sent him a video of me out of context, a clip, at least. And then Anthony's point, this is my deadbeat dad, was that I was speaking nonsense. Because he was saying that I was speaking my language. Anthony was saying I was saying things he didn't understand. So Dr. B, and this is the thing, a lot of black men can become, let's just say, very racist in a way that doesn't make sense because it goes against their own race and category of existence. Dr. B manifested that stereotype by saying that my dad had sent me a video. But this is the thing, Dr. V is a skittish individual. You see, I'm not totally satisfied with my interrogation of Dr. B, but it's his fault. Because the character he displayed indicated that if I asked him more hard-hitting questions, he would freak out. So I really held back a lot of my questions and I observed. There are two relevant characteristics of his that I observed. One, blubbering. When he gets stressed, he blubbers. For example, when he would ask me a question that maybe stressed him out, he'd go. And again, I'm just saying that to indicate that he doesn't communicate well. That's my point. And I'll leave it at that. And it also suggests that a lot of times he's just not set up well enough to be interacting, even though he's presented himself as such. So he blubbers. 2, when he lies, he doesn't look you in the eye. Another way of saying this is if you ask him a tough question, he won't look you in the eye. He'll go, I don't know, and be moving like this. So, what am I getting at? He mentioned that my dad sent him something. And again, multiple times I told him after he first revealed he talked to Anthony, not to let me know if Anthony sent him a message. Because his claim is that he'd stopped talking to Anthony. Anthony had kept sending him messages. And he claimed he hadn't told Anthony what we're talking about. But again, 1, I never gave him permission to connect with Anthony at all. 2, he didn't tell me he was working with Anthony. So it looks like he was working some sort of weird entrapment operation. And I guess either he thought the law wouldn't get to him or he found a loophole. I don't know. Either he's Onyemipuo or he's a loophole boy. I don't know. One of the two. Not good. Anyway, so this man who's not Igbo is trying to evaluate a clip of me speaking Igbo based on what Anthony, who, side note, was not born in Igbo land. And I'm just saying this for context. If you're not born in Igbo land, it's very hard for you to, as a child, find a situation where you're immersed in the language. That doesn't mean you can't learn it. That doesn't mean you won't know it to an extent. That doesn't mean that you can't end up speaking it better than most people. It's just, you cannot claim, you just can't claim to, what are the words? You just can't claim that it was, how do I want to say it? Because it's hard to express this. Because if it's your native language, you can be a native speaker even if you're not in the zone. But if you're not in that zone, you can't claim that you learned it through early immersion. Let me say that. Ooh, let's be. Okay? Because Anthony was not born in Igbo land. He moved back there, according to him, at the beginning of the Biafra crisis. Again, based on what he told me before, he would have been at least like 7 at that time, because that would have been like 1996. Although when I review what he's told me, he didn't give me the exact year he moved back, because different people move back at different times, and then he's clearly lied about his age. So I suspect he was older. So let's just say this. If he was over the age of 12 when he moved back, that's not a native, that's not a childhood immersion speaker. Let me use that term. Ooh, that sounds crazy. But anyway, I'm just saying this because based on that, then also based on the amount of time he lived in the West as an adult, Anthony is not, and also the fact that he's not someone who studies language in general or quote-unquote Igbo language specifically professionally. Anthony is not someone who could claim exceptional authority on the language, and he's not someone who can be assumed to not have any gaps in his understanding of the language. Again, I haven't gone into this level of depth before just because, you know, a lot of times when he's attacking me, I don't have time to go into every single way he's wrong. I just give him the big picture. But I'm just saying it here just for context. And I'll leave it at that. Anyway, so Dr. B doesn't even show me the clip. Because he mentioned the clip and I said, can you show me the video for context? Because again, to this day, I'm still not 100% sure which video he's talking about. Two, at the time, the videos I had released, this was in 2024, were very long. Okay, they were at least like 20 minutes long. He talked about seeing a few minutes of it. If he saw more, he didn't tell me. But for me to evaluate a clip of me speaking, I would have to remember the context and see it. So, this is the funny thing. When I asked him to show me the clip, he said, "Oh, I don't know, I don't remember which one," and put his phone away. A clear, bold-faced lie. And to this day, I'm not 100% sure why he chose to lie like that. But it's very basic. How could you remember the clip so much that you want to talk to me about it and then be holding your phone in your hand and you're clearly reading some sort of message from Anthony, but then when I ask to see the clip, you don't remember and the phone is irrelevant? This is an insult to my intelligence. This is more of that Njoku Ihe I'm talking about. Bold-faced, aggressive insults that are made through lies. Okay. But what I'm getting at here is Dr. B is not even in position to evaluate this because he doesn't understand the language. And then let me go into a point I've made multiple times before. The language that people refer to as Igbo language today is broken. Almost no one speaks it without adding in words from other languages. And there's a high desire among what I'll call childhood immersion speakers to leave Igbo land and speak other languages. And they have not unified their knowledge to express the unique qualities of the language in a consistent way. What does this mean? There is huge room for reasonable speculation, even in a secular way, about how to speak the language. So let's go back to my family. As far as I'm concerned, they hired Dr. B to insult me. And this is an individual, a thorn in my side I can't get to because of the limitations of the law in the world today. Because let me say this, the law is not just about what you can do when you get to court. It's also about your ability to get to court. What does it mean if there is not free legal service that can give you full route to pursue legal recourse within the law, widely available? That means that a lot of people, if not the vast majority of people, have to delay and defer their justice. Let me move. Now let's get back to my family. You see, I haven't gone into this before because I can only say too much. But a big reason these people were saying I was crazy is because I was speaking Igbo and I was doing it, and I'm just saying that to be quick. You know I choose to classify it differently, as I'm going to say again. But they were saying I'm crazy because I was speaking Igbo and I was doing it without adding in English. You see, there's a lot of very basic racism in there, but a lot of times when I was speaking, they would claim to not understand me and ask to speak in English. But this goes into the topic today. An aspect of this I didn't really consider before, but I considered now as I was thinking, is that these people are hard of hearing. You see, the pitch of English is not the same as the pitch of Igbo. And then I have a voice that is different than that of most people. So if I'm speaking Igbo and you're used to saying and then adding in English, and then maybe your hearing isn't of the same range as mine or the same range as people I usually talk to, because there are people I talk to in Igbo. Why are you assuming that I said something wrong instead of considering that maybe you actually just can't hear what I said? Are you just more attuned to hearing Igbo? And this gets into my overall point. People in the world today assume that just because someone is also a human being and or in our category of life, because you know my position on using that term, it's not bad if you're not a human being, because that term is really for the black race. But anyway, you see, people assume that just because someone else is also in our category of life and that they've engaged in a conversation with them before, or they heard something they say, that we have the same hearing. And from that, they try and concoct a collective truth. The collective truth manifests in two relevant ways I'm talking about now. One, the one I basically said already, the collective truth that there is a certain set of logical and acceptable language. As in, any word that they hear is acceptable, and any word that someone else says that they don't hear is unacceptable. And I'll leave it at that. So this prevents people from speaking how they want to speak and improving speech, because speech and language in the world today are broken and must be improved. And this especially manifests in dynamics where people's elders were born in a different place than them and had a different childhood immersion experience than them. And I'll leave it at that. The second way this manifests is the idea of hearing spirits. If not everyone's hearing is the same, why are you assuming that you would have the ability to hear a spirit talking to them? You see, if my parents and their comrades who are of a similar age cannot hear every word I say in Igbo, when my ancestors speak to me in our language, why are they assuming they would be able to hear it? You see, I've mixed the personal and I guess the political today, but I've done it in a good way. People need to do that more. I think I've made my point. Thank you very much. Two things. One, anyone who's insulted me, please repent. If you do not repent, Jide Kalakan. Two, for the general public, explore differences in hearing. Here's a bit of information I'll give you. Much research has shown that, as an example, people in their 20s can hear higher frequencies on average than people in their 50s. If this is true, if a 55-year-old man with no beard and no hair sits down to evaluate whether or not a 25-year-old man with a beard and hair can hear spirits, isn't that an imbalance? Especially if he doesn't say that's what he's evaluating. If you don't give someone context, how do you even know what they're saying they heard? Don't go by gossip. Ngoa. Thank you very much. See you next time.